Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Laura. So today I'll be doing a general energy reading, or reading the energy that we might be able to expect for the month of April. So as you take on board these messages, just keep in mind that this is more like overall energy rather than energies regarding certain situations. Though if that comes through, I will draw attention to that. Okay, so I'm going to work with the Rider-Waite Tarot to begin. Okay, so the first card that came out is the Three of Wands, which is all about, so the wands talk about who you are as a person, your passions, your drives, spirituality. So this is talking about progress or the need for progress, likely some change. And it does, with the three, suggest work to do. But it's like the time is now for progress. Time is ripe. And as I say that, you get the Temperance card, which usually talks more about that patience and flow. So then the sense I'm getting is that rather than bashing against a brick wall or really forcing things, being able to be in the moment and go more with the flow, having patience, because that is going to allow for more progress. Force is not key in this situation, or excuse me, for the month of April. Force is not key. Okay. Yes, and also too, because the Temperance card being a major arcana, it is the number 14, which then usually breaks down to a 5, which is all about stepping out of the fray. When energy is here, there, and everywhere, it's like stepping back out of it, stepping out of it, breaking free of it. And if there is a war going on within you, then perhaps you're needing some clearing, needing to take some time to just be more still. Maybe you've been going too far too fast, and there's needing a bit of a period to integrate, because that's going to allow for greater progress. Otherwise, you're missing out on key aspects, or really grounding key aspects. And that might be on a spiritual level. Oh, yeah, cut the deck. And then you get the King of Wands. And the King of Wands definitely can allude to, on more of a spiritual level, you mastering a certain aspect, or feeling strong within that. And with this chaotic energy, or this sort of fast-paced energy, has led to a little bit of confusion. And right at this moment, the reason why you're needing to take, or why in general we might feel like we need to take a bit of a chill, is because I'm getting moon energy quite strongly, but more illuminating subconscious again. Illuminating the subconscious and not feeding into the fray. Because you can go either two ways, down a rabbit hole of doubt, or you can focus on feeding the positives. when there's been a lot of difficulty going on in your circumstances around you or at the world at large, it's very hard to stay in that positive mind frame, that positive focus. But it is even more key to be able to find those moments of joy and bliss or appreciation for all that you have got and the beauty around you, the beauty of the world, nature, the blossoms of, I know in here it is going to be autumn, so there's far less blossoms, but the colours that surround you. And once you do that, you're going to be able to maintain it. There's a lot that you have in your life that is loving and positive, and so you're asked to really focus on that. Perhaps focus on family too. There's a focus on family. The Ten of Cups is endings happening to make way for new beginnings, and the Cups is about emotions, relationships. The 10 with the rainbow is kind of like there's a rainbow after the storm. That's what I always think of when I see the rainbow with the cups, because it's kind of like perhaps you have had to work through, and this is another thing, perhaps there's been a lot of fears and doubts illuminated with the moon card. And so maybe you have already found yourself in this moment, in these moments of needing to take a step back, healing, a retreat, paying attention to the emotion or feeling into it, sifting through it. But you're coming out of that sense as well, that energy, which is great. All of that has sort of brought to your attention that there needs to be some change, some decisions to make. And that seems to be choice, seems to be the theme of April. Well, it has been for the pick a card reading, because I've recorded that before I've done this one, like through all three, and then also in this one that's very prevalent. And the Seven of Pentacles talks about considering the value of what you have been putting your energy into, or considering if you're going to keep plodding away or ploughing away, or if it's time to move on. This is like looking at your work and going, okay, has it been worth the energy? And perhaps you're just needing to take a moment of appreciation for how far you've come, even if you feel like you're in that lull period, because the 8 follows the 7. And the 8 is all about putting more work in and putting all that you've learned into practice. So perhaps you've done a lot of work. Maybe on the external, you haven't seen the results in that monetary way or the accolations, but actually it's all been necessary because you have learned a lot. You've learned a lot. You've got a lot of experience, wisdom, understanding through work as well, through your own work or life experience, right? And so now it's about putting that all into practice. Practical steps forward does require work, but remember that you can, and you will. And so if there's been stagnancy, just know that there's new energy coming in, either opportunity, but this is like a rebirth. And so if you are feeling this energy you see this as being more about your spiritual path, then I would say then that is a rebirth, as in you've had to close out some cycles to make way for new beginnings, and likely that comes with a sense of elation and elevation through your own inner work and hard work. But there is this recurring theme of finances. I have to tell you that this does give me the feeling of the way way we approach the whole idea of money and finances, because everyone, or a lot of people right now, are struggling financially, or doing it much harder. There's more restriction in place, and there's more uncertainty, and a lot of people are considering where they sort of reconsidering where they put what they put their money into and what they don't. A lot of people are finding it hard and struggling, and then I get the 5 as well of Pentacles, which can talk about finances, feeling left out in the cold. One more. But you have a lot of power in this situation. Everyone has much more power than they believe themselves to have, to make change and positive change for themselves. The 7 of Cups does present many choices, but there is also a sense of many distractions. So hence why I'm needing to step back and get clear and focus, listen to your intuition, focus on your heart's calling, your heart's knowing. That's what you are meant to be, or we are meant to be doing right now, living out of the heart space always. But this is like more than ever now, we're really needing to hold that space. More than ever, needing to hold that space. And there's much power there. And then the 9 of Cups. So like I said, as hard as you might feel it to be, focus on the positive. Find joy in every moment you can. Focus on the love and joy for things, or in the connections you have. In the connection, in the interaction between two people, and between you and another, or your fur babies. Focus on that love and keep cultivating that, because that will help spark more change. And then we get the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups talks about, again, preparing for the end of a cycle. But I always see this as like his trophies, right? Looks a bit chuffed with himself. And so it's kind of like a reminder that you have already achieved so much in your life. Now it's time to reassess your priorities. And then the 3 of Pentacles, which Pentacles also talk about finances, but it also talks about collaboration, working with other people, working together, working as one unit maybe. Because it's interesting, when we focus on restricting, we focus on our finances and our lack of, or focus on really knuckling down and closing off, containing, right? That's when the least flow happens. That's when we find it the most hard. When our focus is on material, we get consumed by it and we forget to live as well. And sometimes we feel like we need much more than we actually do. And I'm not saying that people are not doing it hard and things aren't difficult, and we need money to survive, and we need money to pay for food and for bills and a roof over our heads and for our animals to eat, which sort of goes up to the top of the list most of the time. But if we can sort of just like work a bit more together and be a bit more one, connected more with us all being part of the one, you know, remembering that we are all connected rather than focusing on our separateness, because it can be easy to get into that competitiveness and that feeling of I must rush to do this before someone else does, you know, that whole I must change lanes and not let the other person in before me, even though it wouldn't even matter if they got in before me anyway, because I'd get to where I'm going at the same time. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Connectedness. Maybe that's what we need to be doing, our focus. Taking action together as one, like once we focus more on, I suppose, that loving approach, that heart-based approach, things get clear. Not to say it's not hard work, but it's much easier because we're also in that state of flow. We're also in that positive state, so things seem so much easier when we focus on the hardship and the hard, and like we've got to feel the feelings, right? But when we always feel it so hard, then we're always trudging through life. When we are able to appreciate moments and have joy, even if it feels short-lived, you know, we are able to accept the moment where we have to knuckle down really, or we have to, you know, put work in. There's so many sevens. So 7, 7, and 7. The Chariot, which talks about things being stagnant, but really if you change your focus, things will start moving again. That's how this seems to be resonating. And then we also have the 7 of Swords and also the 7 of Wands. And sevens all talk about using the intuition, going within, within to find the clarity. And also a lot of the time there's so much that is just distraction from our purpose, distraction from where we feel we're meant to be going or we're wanting to go. And it makes us ungrounded. When we're so focused on all that external energy, that chaos, it makes us ungrounded. That's why going within, trying to find that peace within you and carrying that with you through every moment as much as possible, though, you know, there'll be moments where we'll be like, oh, I've got to just go back to that space. Then more steadfast progress is going to happen. The Knight of Pentacles. But a lot of the time we hold ourselves back in regards to belief systems and how they differ from others' belief systems, in the belief that we can't make change, that we have no power in situations, all of that. And so if that wasn't too cryptic in any way, I'm going to pull some oracle cards. The Water Temple Oracle by Suzy Cherub. Goddess, Opacity, if I'm saying it correctly, hopefully. Rebirth, I am reborn. And see how it's kind of like, I know it's a water, she's coming out of the water, but it's kind of like a serpent energy shedding skin. Change, rebirth, new opportunity. It's all about truth and calling. Usually when you're going through change and rebirth, it's uncomfortable, as much as we'd like it not to be. I mean, if the snake sheds its skin, you imagine it wouldn't be that pleasant for the snake, right? Letting go of the old paradigm, old beliefs, outdated beliefs. Let them go. Because you're called to move forward. It's interesting because it's number 37, and 37 also breaks down to 1, which is all about new beginnings. Unity. And I'm going to finish on this card, which is number 3, Goddess Aphrodite. Blossom. I bloom with love. That is like 100% confirmation. Even from the point of before, noticing the beauty around you. But this is like, it seems very interesting that we get change and we get bloom, blossom with love. It's kind of like if you focus on the love, and this can even be in a project, you focus on the love you have for a project or a creative endeavor, or the love you have for the task. It's kind of like there's much more potential for that to blossom, to bloom, to grow. And so that's wonderful. A wonderful message. Well, I think I'll leave that there because that seemed very self-explanatory to me as confirmation. And so wishing you all the best for the month of April. And I hope I see you again soon.